Hey, this is Notser, and today we're taking a look at a British aircraft carrier, Audacious. This is the Tier 10 British aircraft carrier. You don't really see many aircraft carrier games on my channel, but this one was amazing, so hopefully you guys will enjoy. Now, the build that I end up using is on the screen. It is a 20-point commander, and I invest in the defensive skills that pretty much everyone should do. And then I also invested in the best damaging skills, Negatron being one of them, the higher fire chance, and then I only had 2 points, so I figured let's round it out by improving the torpedo activation window. But we're going to have a great game. Hopefully you guys will enjoy. Now, obviously, I don't play aircraft carriers all that frequently, especially on my YouTube channel, so I'm coming at this kind of just trying to strategically understand how to succeed. We're going up against Knock 'em Over. It's an all tier 10 match. Now, the first thing that I love to do is to try and create a contested situation against the aircraft carrier, either by going right up against his squadron to place something in his way to slow him down, or to keep something out on the map to spot in maybe a high traffic area. And we were able to deny the aircraft fighter that was used to spot. And, I'm okay with a trade there. Now, the reason why I take the trade is because I am going to continuously provide a little bit more of a threat over here. Now, I spawned with the attack rocket. The attack rockets for the Brits actually pretty good against the destroyer and submarine, if we get an opportunity to go after the sub. But there's 4 DDs on the enemy team, so I'm sure that we'll get a chance and we run across the enemy. I don't want to commit too much. So what I do is I pull back just to be careful. And instead I go to the other flank, hoping that I can keep a couple targets spotted. And I find an area of the map where my fighter is in range to detect, but not in range to be shot down. That's a very key distinction, and it's one that, obviously, if you play enough of it, you'll see it. That's exactly what I was hoping to do. Now, I can see that the enemy is trying to tether my fighter and pull it so he can then recall his squadron or pull it over and then attack. But while that's going on, I'm attacking the gearing. The attack rocket is a great spotting tool, and the damage that it ends up doing is honestly just bonus. And we do pretty decent, but the gearing is in trouble because he's out in the open, obviously. He needs to consider activating smoke, which he does. A little too slow because we will have a chance to assume that he's turning into it. And we actually landed a pretty good amount of rockets in there. We also set another fire, so I'm checking the top right-hand corner. That will tell me if he has DCP off a cooldown, and no, it is not off a cooldown. And of course, the Stalingrad on my team, being the absolute jerk that he is, activates his radar to spot the gearing, who now is in a huge bad situation. This is basically going to end up being his downfall. So I'm rushing over to the gearing with my dive bomb. Well, I guess carpet bomb. Carpet bomb is really good on the Brits. We catch sight of him just barely as he's transferring to the other smoke, and I'm just going to make an educated guess on his location. And we get one shell on him, and it does interrupt the capture because our friendly is a submarine, so he's not actually on the surface. But the gearing is he just is uncomfortable, so he decides to disengage. Well, he's going to disengage right into the worst possible thing as we fly over this guy. My bombs drop. We got 2 of them. We incapacitate something, but ultimately, we provided the spotting and damage that could lead to his downfall, and that's a big pickup for us. We didn't really have to put too much out there, so I felt pretty good. All right, 1 down, 4 more to go. Obviously, the 3 DDs and submarine. So let's take stock of what we got here. You also note that I put a fighter out as I was disengaging with my squadron. The reason I did that is because the submarine loves to be underwater, and the only other target that would be there is the friendly DDs on the north side, but they don't really have easy spot on the great big battleships and cruisers on the south side. So by putting the fighter there, I'm allowing my team to farm some damage while I'm also doing something on the other side of the map. And I decided to go over here because the submarine is detected, but he's on the surface, so I don't understand why he's on the surface, but I'm going to work to punish him as he's on the surface. And he's just not doing anything, and we do okay. We've set him on fire. And it does look like he's going to disengage and go underwater. But the convenient thing here, of course, is that there's a Shima right there, and he's already 50% live. So I'm going to invest a boost in this, because if we keep him spotted and we attack him, there's nothing that can really stop us from doing this. So we're just flying down the path that we last saw him and instantly activating when we catch sight of him. And I obviously recall the squadron's going to do some damage. Well, actually, 1,700 basic. That's pretty good. So we got probably like 3K left on him. If someone gets a good, nice shot on the Shima, maybe we could take him out. Now, my teammate, Gunny Chuck, he's let me know the enemy has broken containment on the south side, and we need to start turning the ship around and going away, right? So I'm over here like, we're actually spotted by something that's in ship detection. So that means there is actually a enemy ship that is inside my carrier detection. So I'm going to go out looking for this potential target, and oh, we find our Shimakaze friend. Of course, force out the smoke, which instantly provides protection. He gets some torpedoes out against the Ohio. Ohio gets to split the defense there with a little bit of a torpedo gap there. But we got a couple other enemies, enemy Ohio and a GK that could potentially push down this area, and there's a Petro. It's not the best, and of course, as this is going on, B point is being captured. We lost all of our presence on the map in B point area with the sub being killed, and of course a battleship as well, and a DD. So we've got to try to slow this progress down, but realize that it's the Holland. He's literally the strongest anti-aircraft DD in the game if he has defensive. So I'm just trying my best to get any amount of free damage without taking too much, and we get at least enough to defend the point. But look at what's happened. Shimakaze. The aircraft carrier, there's a lot of things going on. I obviously dropped my fighter squadron over the smoke cloud of the Shimakaze because I wanted to see when he left the smoke, the instant he left the smoke, because I could then obviously engage him. But friendlies can also engage him. So it's a win-win, really, when dealing with this type of situation where there's a enemy DD that's pushed up really far forward, and we get the best RNG on our bombs. 3 on the Shima, we knock him out, and there's no longer a ship that's in range to spot my aircraft carrier. So yeah, keep retreating, and we're just going to try and get some decent damage while retreating. Obviously, not going to kill him, but we do get 2 fires set. 5 bombs do damage, 2 non-pin. The 2 fires are going to force out DCP, and knowing that he has to use DCP, or he's just going to take tons of fire damage, which of course he uses DCP, we're going to follow up with another dot-related squadron, aka the torpedo. So the torpedo, for the Brits, obviously you don't see the Brits too often because they're not as popular as others, but the Brits, they converge at a point. And they don't really move the fastest, but they move fast enough that if you attack at the right angle, you should be pretty good. And out of the Shima, last-ditch effort, he sent out torpedoes. We take a little bit of damage, but we're also able to line up a pretty decent attack. I decide to use my heal because I want to get a second follow-up. We get 1 flood on the front, and if we can get a flood on his rear, we're going to be really in business because it's going to stick. So, of course, I set it up. He's slow. I need to start moving again because we can't just stay here. Look at he's catching up very quickly. Is this going to be enough to kill the Ohio? No, it's not. But he is still flooding, and I just need him to tick over. Of course. His life stops falling. Just under 200, and now it's getting healed back up. So we've got to attempt to obviously take him out. So I have my carpet bomb squadron, kind of want to do an off-angle attack, and I try and drop when the cross of the indicator intersects with his ship. We get a decent drop on him, but it doesn't cause a fire, and it only merely damages him back down to where he was. And instead of continuing the attack on the Ohio, I transitioned to a Holland attack, just hoping that we can get some damage on this guy, and I didn't expect that kind of damage. But we're unfortunately in range of the Ohio. Now, the Ohio has an island that is blocking. Friendlies are trying to damage him. Finally, the Ohio is taken out, but we still have the GK, and we still have the Petro, and this game is still really close. I can't believe it's still really close. It is, though, so we have to try and make up the difference. And between the two targets, the GK is going to have a weaker anti-air, but he has more health, and he has better torpedo protection. So I kind of have to be careful to not throw too much at this problem, because the game is so close. Every little aircraft shot down or every miss opportunity could be the difference between winning and losing. But we do get a good torpedo attack, no flood. But that Negatron really makes a big difference against big ships because they have so much torpedo protection. Normally they just laugh at it, but reducing it to, cruiser levels really affects them, and they feel it. Unfortunately, we don't really get much damage on the GK, and the Petro, he is still full life. And he's got our broadside, so I'm trying to angle away while surviving the AP focus from the Petro. Friendly Amato takes out the Conqueror, and the Petro is in a position bow in. So I'm just going to attack him directly on. I felt like I was about to die here. So we attack him directly with the Carpet Bomb, which, honestly should end up doing pretty decent damage. Yeah. 2 fires and 10,000. Yeah, I'll take that every single day, but he is using his defensive AA. The Petro has pretty good defense from air until he starts taking damage. He doesn't have a lot of protection, and we're just so close to dying here. I just want to survive. Because the Petro put out the fires, he's vulnerable to the dot. We get another fire set, and we actually get 5 on him, which is really good. In a matter of 30 seconds, the Petro went from 55,000 all the way down to 15,000. So, of course, scrambling the next squadron. Of course, the Petro is desperately trying to kill us while also capturing. He's trying to be a one-man army. And the enemy has made it up. They are contesting literally every point. So I'm in a weird position here, because what I ended up doing is I noticed the enemy aircraft carrier. He was basically flying in the position I wanted to go, because the Petro, he's got a solid cover. So I wanted to approach at a perfect perpendicular angle, because obviously torpedoes, but I just can't get close enough. Oh, just so frustrating. But we do have heals. So the heal is made for this. While over a ship, you activate it to keep you alive the longest, so you can do that follow-up attack. And this is going to be it, friend. Nothing you can do. Nice try. Hasta la vista. Petro? Yes, hasta la vista, Petro. And of course, the aircraft carrier is attacking us. Thankfully, I'm in direct control of my aircraft carrier, so we do activate our priority sector. And I'm going to try and angle away. Thankfully, we still had the automatic DCP, which protected us from any fire dot. But we run ourselves into the island, and we're just so desperately trying to drop off detection, guys. Come on. Very stressful game, but it's not over yet. So, GK contesting A, but he's taking direct fire. Friendly DD captured the enemy's D point. There is a Holland, and we do know that the Holland's probably like 3,000 to 5,000. Remember, they can bounce back with their heal. So it's not going to be the exact hit points that you saw at last. It will be recovered somewhat. So we bounce into him. He activates his DCP. Of course he would. We're going to get one attack on this guy, and it has to count. Oh, man, the stress level here, because you got to just lead it just right and predict that he's going to fly his ship right through it. And, of course, he sails right into it. We knock him out. 3 rockets actually land, and it wasn't even the best attack. We just got it in the area, but gosh, I'm glad we got him dead. GK taken out by the Slava. all that remains is the enemy aircraft carrier and the lone enemy battleship. We've done 148,000. I can't believe we were able to get that much damage in this type of game. This was literally the first game that I ended up using this build, and I loved it. It really made a huge difference. We got 8 fires, a huge amount of torpedo damage. Nearly were able to get that torpedo strike on the Petro and then follow up directly into the GK. Obviously, I had to break off and change that. Note the knock him over. Knock him over is looking to try and spot us so he can attack us, me or the friendly Slava, which, of course, he's super not interested in this. Every attack on the Slava makes him weaker and weaker and weaker to almost an infant level of AA. It's just a huge weak trait of the Soviet battleships. They just don't have much protection on those armament. But anyway, we're still alive. Montana is pushing up aggressively into multiple friendlies who are attacking from multiple angles. And this is really just a finishing blow on a target that he's just trying to make a play in a desperate situation, and I think I actually didn't give enough lead. It's one of those things. Well, we got two of the 3. Dang it. If I would have given him a little bit more lead, we would have killed him outright. He uses his heal, which Montana heal is very good. Friendlies are trying to take him out. Enemy aircraft carrier, he's attempting to get a direct attack on us. Of course he is. So I'm trying to wait him out so I can activate my priority sector the moment he crosses into ours. And at that point, there's really nothing else I can do to stop this. I just have to hope that only one aircraft is not enough to kill us. He gets a little bit of chip damage, but not a kill. We have 3,600 life in a game that was a back and forth struggle, but such a rewarding game because every action mattered. And you'll note that we've contributed quite a lot this game. We did 157,000. We spotted 186,000. And that's a lot. That's like 330,000 damage is because of the actions that we took in this game. And I love that. I love the variety, the uniqueness of the classes. I love all types of games. So gameplay, loops, and unique flavor and style and all that really speaks to me. So I really like that I have to manage a fighter and consider, I could easily just attack him directly. But the better play is to drop a fighter outside of his AA range and then attack him, because I won't deny my team the chance to contribute. There's just little things that a carrier can do that make a huge difference for their team, and it's not really as valued as it should be because the action is so important. We're going to get one attack on this guy, probably not going to do much damage because he does have, armored deck, but he's spotted, and he needs to commit another fighter or his squadron to drop that off. He's not going to sail towards it, because if he sails towards it, he's going to just die. But we're keeping him spotted for our team while we're coming back, and we've got another one on the way. So yeah, obviously there's a lot of things about carriers in the past and maybe in the present that people are frustrated by. But one of the cool things about the carrier, and I hope this is more of the playstyle that comes through the support carrier, their actions enhance their team more than any other class. With the spotting and the contribution on a low health target, or getting a certain target to use his DCP and then they can follow up. There's a lot of different things that a carrier can do, and he's an assault carrier now. So the moment they add the support carrier and consider what they can actually bring to the table, it's going to be exciting. So really love this game though. We did 159,000 Confederate, 3 kills, and yeah, I'm working on a task. That's one of the reasons why I was playing Audacious. 2,800 base XP in a carrier. Yes, the Slava did as well. All of the survivors honestly contribute a lot. Really awesome game, really competitive. Wouldn't change it. Love the dynamic play, and honestly, I love playing the Audacious in it. It was just a joy and a unique experience that I don't really have that much because I play so many surface ships that obviously are different. But yeah, this was great, and hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing the Audacious. And if you are considering playing in the carrier or playing against a carrier and they do these types of things, hopefully this answered or helped you understand the game more. If you enjoyed the video, please like it. You can also subscribe to my channel. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. My North American recruit invite is on the screen. You can take advantage of that. Thank you and have a wonderful day.